Welcome back to the Titanium Hanger. Happy Friday, everybody. Hope everybody's doing well. Today I want to talk to you about a Devi of options, a lot of Devastator options that are either on the way or we have some that already exist, and the existing ones are becoming a better value. Some are, and some are not. But I gotta say, there's a really big chance that the king is going to get dethroned in this upcoming series of releases for other companies making a Devastator. We're going to talk about your options coming up. Okay, so we are going to start talking about the smaller end of the spectrum, which is the 18-inch, and that's the Generation Toy. Now, the original Generation Toy was about $260 to $300, and this one is actually the only one I can find for sale right now on Show Z is actually a KO oversized, and in other places they still carry for about $360. The original Generation Toy, it's called the Gravity Builder, and with that, the original Gravity Builder was 17.72 inches tall, and I don't know if it has any die cast in it or not. I never owned that version, and I've never even reviewed that one, but it was an earlier model of a Devastator, and I was never really intrigued by the aesthetics of it, but a lot of people do really like this. This is in a lot of people's collections. For about $37, you can get an upgrade kit for the Generation Toy Gravity Builder, and it includes an extra head, which is a more tuned head, a couple of connectors, 2 shoulder parts, 2 rib parts, 2 arm extensions, 2 foot stabilizers. It's made for the oversized, and a cuirass? What's a cuirass? Anyway, with all of that, this is what it looks like. Here it is with all of the upgrades on it, and I think the upgrades really do make it look a little bit better. Side by side with the original, you can see it looks more cartoon. Now, there is some discussion of people liking the original because it looks more interesting and all that kind of stuff, and that's up to you. That's purely up to you if you want to go this route, but I do believe the upgrade kit for $37 really does enhance this, makes it look a whole lot better, and so with that, it's still a really good option, and people that get this upgrade kit with this KO oversize for, you're only at a little over $200 right here, and it's still only about 18 point something inches, a little under 19 inches. So it gets an extra inch. It's oversized, but not much. But it still looks pretty good, especially with this kit. Like Toys makes their own upgrade kit, but I think it's in the ballpark of like 300, I believe. I have to look a little bit closer into it, but they do make an upgrade kit for the Generation Toy, and I do believe theirs is for the oversized version also, and it looks great. I think it does look really nice. But the thing is, it oversizes. So it takes it, instead of just being about the same size with an upgrade kit like the Jin Bao one, this one here is actually making it much bigger. So this is bigger than Toy World once you add all the add-ons. That's my understanding of the situation, and with that, it doesn't dethrone the king. I don't know. But it does look good. I do like how it's a much brighter green. I just like that. It pops. And then, a lot of people that love the Toy World, they love the more muted colors. We're going to talk about Toy World in a bit, but this is just a comparison picture. They also made the Generation Toy in yellow, the Gravity Builder. So yellow, orange, depending on what spectrum of yellow you're looking at this kind of started to look more orange to me than yellow. But anyhow, it does look good. It says it's the yellow version, but with all of that, it does have other modes. So here it is in alt mode. So you can kind of see the alt mode, which does kind of shine through more or less in the combined mode, which I think is the best part of it all. And here's what they look like in bot mode. If you want to decide to display these in your bot mode, that will work. That is your choice if you want to. I think they're a little bit bulky in a way, but still not too bad. They're not horrible. But they're anywhere on the G1 spectrum at all. They're very stylized. So next, I just want to quickly get into talking about the Combiner Wars Devastator, which there's pluses and minuses to this one. It's about 18 inches tall. It is a Titan class. It was one of the earlier Titan class figures from Hasbro, and with that, a lot of people were kind of upset because the Combiner Wars, this being 18 inches, was a few inches taller than all the other combiners, which didn't make sense to a lot of people because he shouldn't have been that much bigger than the rest of the combiners. But I as soon as I knew it was going to be 18 inches, I thought, ooh, masterpiece scale. So I will say 18-inch, in my opinion, and it's just as my opinion, is the smallest that would really be acceptable to be considered masterpiece that you could kind of pull off in your masterpiece scale. But with that, this puts it into the masterpiece scale. I don't think it looks horrible, but of course it's not the best looking one out of them, but they are not terrible. Now, his knees are up in his middle thighs, and so that's an issue for articulation, and so it's not perfect. It's definitely not perfect. There are upgrade kits for this, but for the most part, I think those are all pretty much sold out and hard to get, so really no need to talk about those. The alt modes look really good on this one, as you can see in this picture. So here they are in bot mode, and I want to say a few of them look decent. One of them, so Long Haul is the big, bulky one, and he just doesn't look right. He doesn't look like he fits. He doesn't really look good. So in bot modes, the rest of them can sort of semi-pull it off. Some of the legs look kind of dorky and cheesy. And it does have some G1 homage to it, but yeah, Long Haul, a bit too bulky in this one. Okay, so looking at this, the left is the standard one, Combiner Wars. The right is Unite Warriors. And what I've always felt was that you'd want to get the Unite Warriors one and probably swap the head with the Titan Returns one, and then you'd have a really nice looking set. But either way, they both look good, and there's so little difference between the two. This is one of the minimalist differences between the two, but yeah, I still like the Unite Warriors one on the right better. Now we get into Toy World, and Toy World is the king of all kings right now, and still hasn't completely been dethroned. There's arguments and discussions on threads, I'm sure, about whether the Gravity Builder or the KO Oversized Gravity Builder with upgrade kits is better, but still, this one just kind of like right out the box is good to go. And it's not perfect, in my opinion. I think it is still a bit too stylized. So a lot of people like the real world look to it. I would like the brighter greens and the smoother look of the G1 cartoon, but then again, other people feel like this is a more interesting look. But I do like the fact that they do use the faux parts on this one, and they do make this 21 inches, so it's truly towering over the rest of your figures, towers over all the Skyfire options that are out there. So with that, he does kind of fit the bill. And he did usher in the new era of combiners. Okay, so here's the bots, and I think these do look better than the Generation Toy in the bot mode, but not super G1 and still a bit stylized and still a bit bulky and all of that kind of stuff. Now, the transformation on these is no fun. I only did it once, and mine, I think, were like halfway between one mode and another because I got mine used. I paid like $3.50 for mine used, and I thought, ooh, cool, it's in a box set, it's going to be ready to go. No, it's not. The new ones that they make are literally ready to come out and put in bot mode, but I've heard people say that there's still a lot of steps that you have to do to get them connected, and it takes some time, but overall, it's pretty solid once you get it together. It's a bit fiddly getting it together, and then when you get it together, it's pretty solid. And so there's the bot mode. Here's the alt modes, and they look really good too. So I mean, I think that so all of these have to nail the alt mode, because the alt mode translates into the combined mode, and if you don't nail the alt mode, your combined mode is going to look whack. So you don't want a wacky looking combined mode, so you have good looking alt modes. That's just kind of a basic there. Now, these aren't super G1, but close enough for me, actually. So, and I'm a super G1er, so I want to say something talking about price on this, though. Originally, they were like $100 a figure, making them a $600 set, and that was a lot, and to me, that was too much. But I'm trying to look around and see. I don't see any for sale on Show Z right now. The last one sold, a standard one, it shows in here like $489, but generally around $700. So they did have a yellow or orange one on sale for $300 once upon a time, $329. But I looked on TF Source, they don't have any for sale either. And if TF Source is sold out, then a lot of places are sold out. But they had one of them, the green weathered version was $1,200, and then the deluxe, the green one deluxe for whatever reason, $900. And so a lot of high price, $700 for the X version. So if they ever do a reissue of this stuff, I don't know what it's going to cost. But right now, really the only way to get it on the secondary market, I've seen some people sell them for reasonable prices on the secondary market, though. Now we're getting into X-Transbots entering into the scene, and I'm just going to say it. I personally think X-Transbots is going to be the best. It's going to look the best. It may not be the best transformation, but I think once it gets transformed and combined, it will hold together. That's my belief. Just based off their Metasaur, that trailer was a nightmare, but I think they're figuring things out, or I hope they will, at least. I hope they will. At least they've made a combiner, right? At least they made a combiner. I'm not saying anything about anyone else, but at least they've made a combiner. So this looks very G1-esque, and it's exactly what I want, a very G1-esque. So saying what's it going to look like on your shelf, or what's it going to look like in bot mode and alt mode, all that kind of stuff. So I don't think they've actually shown the combined all the way. So let's look at the other alt mode. The other alt mode is Super Ultra G1. And that's another thing that X-Transbots always does. They always nail the G1 look, the G1 aesthetic in both modes. And, you know, that is a bit of a detriment for them because sometimes it's like 853 steps to get there and it's not fun. And some of the parts are real thin. And you have to align all 113 parts exactly right or they won't clip together. But I hope we don't have that problem with this. Just I hope it's a little bit more simplistic. I mean, it really should be overall a little more simplistic. And with that, I think this is all we get for combined mode. And I think this is enough to kind of get an idea of the direction they're going. You see a leg super clean, and you can see the thigh and the hip area, and then the chest. So it's super clean. It's going to look really good. Really much like a cartoon version of a G1 Devastator, which is what I want. Now, here's the thing. If you're going to sit here and compare and say, well, I still like Toy World better, then stick with Toy World. That's fine. And there's nothing wrong with that. If you still like the real world aesthetic more than the super cartoon aesthetic, there's no need to spend money on this. And then I'm going to get into that, the price. So what I'm hearing and seeing from everywhere else, $150 for this guy. $150 for this per figure. So that's 6 figures, $150 each, $900. So I mean, we're over here sitting there looking at the old Toy World ones, and that's crazy money. But the thing about this is if they release one and then a couple months later another, absorbing 150 here and there is a lot easier than taking a big chunk at once at 900. But I hope they make a box set for like 5 or 6. I don't know if I want to drop 600 on another one of these, but I might absorb 150 as I go and do it that way. But I really think this will be the best one. So now we got our good friends at Vectras Lab, which kind of surrounded with a little bit of controversy because a lot of people were feeling like this is just never going to come out, or like it's a scam, it's a sham, or whatever. And I just don't know. I mean, there's so many new players out there that we got to give them a shot. So here's what I'm going to say before I go any further with this and just talk about this, is that if you have questions on this at all, it's $1 down at Show Z, and if anything happens and it never comes out, they'll just give you your $1 back in store credit. They're not going to refund it to you because of the cost for actually doing that. They don't just refund it, they give you credit because it costs them so much money and financial fees and all that kind of stuff. It just makes no sense. But when it comes to this figure, I think it looks pretty good. And so you've eliminated the risk if you pre-order it, say like Show Z, and you're guaranteed to get it. But when you get it, is it going to have good quality? Is it going to look the way you want it to? And they've been working on this thing and putting up more pictures here and there. And so with that, I think it looks pretty decent. But does it look better than what X-Transbots is going to give us? And I don't know yet. And it's going to be interesting to see side by side and all that kind of stuff. So yes, there are issues and questions surrounding this, and there's things we can do to kind of protect ourselves and all that. But here we go with kind of a back view of it. And so it does look pretty clean. Looks like pretty good engineering going on with it. And it does look pretty beefy. It looks big and beefy, like a good size figure. The figure itself, no information on how tall it is, but it looks like it's in the about 9-inch range. That's just my guess from looking at it. It does look, I personally believe that it has more simplistic engineering than what we're going to see with X-Transbots. Now, I might be wrong on that because, I mean, we don't really know, but I do feel like it's going to be an option that's going to come out. But I'm going to show a comparison here to Omega Supreme, and that is the DX9. And I want to say that there's one more problem that concerns people, and that is if this one comes out, will the other 5 come out? And, I mean, have you ever heard of a company that make a combiner and not make the rest up? Oh, never mind. Anyway, they've got to build a reputation so that they got to still build a reputation. So I think they're all going to come. I think they're going to finish this project because there's going to be too much money running on it, and who wants to be the laughing stock joke? But at the end of the day, if they're affordable enough, I hope they're affordable enough, at the end of the day, they can still just be in bot mode, if they don't finish the team. Now, there was a MMC one that they were showing, but it was a joke. It was an April Fool's joke. It was a prank, or at least that's my understanding. And so with that, I don't know. I don't know. Is it a joke that's gone too far? Is it a prank that is too far pranked? Or is it going to be like, surprise, gotcha, we actually are making it. So I wouldn't put it past MMC to actually make one day. Don't think it's seriously on the dockets right now. I'd be curious how they pull it off, though. I'm really curious how they would do an all-in-one Devi that has all of the combining parts to it. But they could do it. They could pull it off if anyone could. The joke was that they were like saying, hey, this is our green grapple, which is, forgot what he's called. But anyhow, that's what they're saying. And they might be right. I mean, it's just kind of a funny joke. And then they came down the road and kind of superimposed this picture into all those other pictures. You want to say, to heck with all these other options, I just want a G1 one. This is like $65 on Shozi, so you can still get the G1 one. Now, they released, like a Hasbro did their own KO of the original, which is not the same as the original, but similar. And with that, Hasbro's was $72, but then I caught mine on clearance for $50. So, I mean, this is still right in that range of price range, and not too bad. But I do want to suggest, if you do get one of these, to try to chase down and pick up a Crazy Devi kit. I think I ordered my Crazy Devi kit. It was all 4 of the Crazy Devi kits for like either 25 or 50. I can't remember. It was something like way cheaper than each one separate, and it was a super good deal. But there are 4. I don't know, my understanding is 4 Crazy Devi kits. But anyhow, this isn't actually what mine looks like, but it's the same kind of idea behind what's going on with the Crazy Devi kit. If you get a G1 and you want it to have articulation and look a little bit more fun with your G1. All right, so let me know what you think about these Devi options, these Devi of options, and which one are you in on? Which one do you have right now? Are you planning on swapping those out? Are you just going to stick with it because you don't like playing the swap out game? Because that does start to get really, really old really, really fast. Let me know in the comments below, like and subscribe. Hanger out.